Hey, this is Brian, the Cowboy Coder. I'm going to go through some of the foundations of code. These are some of the classes that I've taught locally um, with my rec center. And so, as promised, I'm making some YouTube videos to kind of walk through what we've done in class and kind of expanding upon what it means to make an HTML web app, website. And so in this video, let's talk about what the web is and what that means so we can set up our little workspace to build out some files and start working on some pretty cool stuff. So first and foremost, what is the web, right? If you click on your browser like here, and you go to, let's say, Google, right? This is a website, okay? And in some cases, you may hear things called websites or web apps. It really depends on what the website does. If the website's very heavy, does lots of really neat things, it might be considered a web app, where it does a little bit more than just kind of showing you pictures or information or stuff like that. Okay, and so with each website you go to, in all browsers, or most browsers at least, you can press F12 on your keyboard and this will open up. It may look different depending on which browser you're using. I am using Edge, but in this case, this is going to open DevTools. So if I click here, you'll see that this opens up. And what this does is actually shows us all of the code that runs this website. Okay? And the cool thing about this is that we can play with some of the code on the website. And it won't mess anything up. This is only the code that sits on your browser, on your computer. It's already downloaded from the google.com server, right? And so the cool thing about this is we can change the colors, we can make the text say different stuff if we want to. It won't stick around if we recycle the page, but it lets us have a little bit of fun. So to show that, I'm going to click this little icon here. And what this does is allows me to choose something on the page to kind of mess with. Let's do this box back here. And if I go over here where styles is, and I click in this box, it lets me type something. And so if I type in background color and change this to chocolate. Hey, that's like chocolate. Is that chocolate? That doesn't look like chocolate. That looks like orange. Orange chocolate. That's what we got. We have orange chocolate. Doesn't really do anything fun, right? But you can kind of mess around. Even the text over here. So I've selected this right here. This is what's called an input element. And its value is called Google search. Or the text in it is Google search. So I could say, find the best pickles ever. Hit enter, boom, and it changes it. Now this does nothing different. This doesn't mess with the website. If I recycle it, it goes back. Well, in this case it went to dark mode, but in any case, the color is back to normal. And I could go do it again if I'd like. Coral. Okay. And so this website is a series of blocks, and we can manipulate those blocks as kind of we see fit. And most websites that you go to, you will find that you can easily access this code within the DevTools. Okay? And if you can't find the F12 button, it's all together F12. If you can't find it, you can always go into the options here and go to more tools and find developer tools. So anytime we're working with code, we're called developers, right? And these are the tools that we're going to use to help us make apps, websites, games, all kinds of stuff. Cool. So on to part 2. So for part 2, what we need, at least in this case, you can do many different types of things, different types of ways to make a website, web page, web app using HTML. If you search Visual Studio Code, you should be able to find, it will be code.visualstudio.com. And when you go here, depending on which machine, what type of machine you're working on, so if you're on a Windows machine like I am right now, you click download for Windows. There's also one for an Apple Mac that you can use as well. All right. And with that, what I've done is actually I found a folder. So if you go to if you make up a new folder like mine, I went to my disk and I created a new folder called repos. This is Saturday morning code, and for my Saturday morning code, this is the foundations of coding. I create that folder, and when I have Visual Studio Code installed, all I did, and I'll show you again here, is this is what it'll look like when you finish opening, getting started rather than Visual Studio Code. And if you click open folder, and if you go find the folder that you made, Foundations of Coding, select it, it'll show you all the files in that folder. And when you're making games and apps and stuff like that, this is kind of what you're going to do. You're going to be in a folder and you're going to be creating files that kind of work together to make that app for you. And so with that, I've created the 3 basics. All that's really needed to create a website is an index HTML page. That's it. That's all you need. You don't even need an app.js or an app CSS. This right here, this is the result of this file right here. And if you look at the code that I've written here, okay, this is an HTML file. These little arrow, something, something, arrow, this is called an element. This is the one that opens it. And if you look at the bottom, it looks the same, but they put a slash in there. That's how it closes. That means I'm done. Okay? And if you look, every element has a closing. It's like a brother and a sister. One opens it, one closes it. Okay? And so look at my elements, and then look at the page over here. If you look at Hello World, Hello World's right here. How do we prove it's the same thing? Well, I love tacos. And then I hit save. And it doesn't reload. Oh, there it is. I love tacos. Let me turn on autosave. Let's say I love tacos and donuts. There we go. I love tacos and donuts. Okay. And if you look up top in the head is the stuff you can't see in the white space. If you look at the white square of your website, that's all the body. The head is the stuff that goes along with it. And so inside head, I have title. This is a title element, and I've typed in Foundations of Coding. If you take a look over here in the very top, that's where that goes. I've already changed that to pickles. Pickles. Notice it changes to pickles. And my browser is green, so that works out. All right, so that's our setup. All you have to do is create these files, and you can create them here. I could create another index. I'll call mine 2. Right? And it just creates that file. And if I go back and look, see, it's created the file for me. That's the great thing about VS Code. VS Code, or Visual Studio Code, will allow you to open that folder and create those files. All right, I'll delete this one because I don't need it. Thank you. And if you want to create a website This is all you need. These 8 lines of code. Okay? As long as you have an HTML, a head, a body. And the head and the body are within the HTML, meaning that the HTML starts and closes and there's stuff in it. And that will get you a website. All right? Additionally, I am using some extensions in Visual Studio Code for this. And this will help you see your changes much quicker. And so if you go to extensions and you search live server, and you click on this one by Ritwick Day, this one has 57 million downloads. So install this one. And with that, what it does is it will make your HTML file available to look at, like you're clicking on a website. Otherwise, you kind of got to jump through some hoops to make it work. And it's really cool because whenever you save it, and remember I did autosave here, meaning that I can just type some stuff, wait, and it'll update for me. This happening automatically is because of live server. So when you get started with your file and you're ready to go, you right click and click open with live server, and it'll open it for you over here. And if you want your workspace to look the same as mine, all I did was take my window for my website, put it over here. Let's say we'll do it the normal way. This is the way that it would normally look. And you can grab it in the middle there, on Windows that is, and slide it over. And that makes it easy for me to work in. Okay? So that's HTML and setting up your workspace for the foundations of coding. We'll stop there for now, and we'll pick up by introducing some new elements into our index HTML and getting prepared to make our Threedle app, the 3-letter word app based on Wordle. All right? Thanks a lot.